Hey, Derek and Gary, Lovewell team. This is Joe, and kind of wanted to go over this SEO thing. I thought we were going to try to visit when Gary got back, but I'm sure y'all been scrambling. The reprint order is in, should be done here in a few days. But if you'll remember at the beginning, we used to have a button for someone to fill out a form, but we changed it just to the phone call, and then all services and brochure. All services came later. So you don't really have a form capture on any of the websites other than volunteers really, and or employment. So, and I'll give you a reason why I know this. Okay, if you take a look at what we've been doing with SEO, so this is October versus September. So you had 247 total clicks in October versus 229. That's people that clicked your website. So the CTR has jumped way up, click through rate, because we were able to start targeting better with the SEO. But the SEO has been like slowed down in the way of progress because we're trying to bring everything with it, right? It wasn't just hospice anymore. Now it's palliative and home care. So we used to have this thing do a shotgun, and that made this lower. But this is continually grow every single month. It used to be under 200s. Now we've got up to 200. Now we're in the mid 200s consistently. So that's important to know. So my question is, out of 247 or 229 September clicks, how do we not have any calls? Well, I can take a look. Level Hospice was clicked directly, 127 versus 17, 10 more clicks in October versus September, with more impressions than September. So more people looking for hospice, and in this case, Level Hospice was found, right? Because the increase in the clicks. So Level Care showed up, right? And Level Cares is not hospice. We also have reviews have been looked at, volunteer near me, Lovewell, Level Hospice Allen. And then you'll see there's even palliative care. Look at palliative care, right? Hospice for veterans near me. That's something that we'll probably want to go chime in on, because look at October versus September. But with the government shutdown, I know a lot of the services are kind of in limbo. It's kind of almost like COVID, right? Nobody knows what's next. But look at palliative had 766 in September and 375 in October. You see the search volatility? And that can happen the other way. You can have it spike one month, and last month it was not anything to go after, but then you already made the play, and it takes the system a couple weeks for it to catch itself, right? So we're actually doing more things there, but I will, just so I can confirm in my mind. So here's Level Hospice. This is the back side. This is the forms. And so, like, out of all those clicks, you had 2, 4, 6 applications to join our team or clicking to join our team, right? That's active on the hospice site. And then you had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 in September looking for work. So if people are willing to fill that out looking for work, right? We know the hospice is working because that doesn't get stored on the website. Here, it goes directly to your manager. So, and we know that's working. So the question is, we should probably, and then here's two things. We need to change this to a trackable number, and then we'll forward it to this number. But we need to put a tracking number so I can monitor the number of calls, because I did survey our customers that we're doing SEO for and Google Ads. And I got to be honest with you, nobody has ever said, hey, I found you on Google just willfully. Most of everyone that we surveyed, our customers that spend a lot more than you guys do or about what you guys do in some cases, they all said it's not at all what the customer is willingly going to tell us where they came from. We have to ask everybody. So everybody that calls, everybody that fills out a form, they want to know, right? If they fill out a form, that's better trackable, because I can track it from the website from where it came from. But then if they make a phone call, and because this is a not trackable number, that's really important moving forward, so that we can monitor that. I can't imagine that. See, look at my point here. If I've only had, two, four, six clicks on the website for an application, but I know in October you had 127 clicks on the website. So what are those people doing? If they are calling you, are we asking how'd they find us? Or are we just assuming they're all from the sales team? Then the other thing is, if they are clicking the website and they don't have a form to fill and they don't have the opportunity to make a phone call, is it happening later? So we could be filling the funnel and then losing it because I didn't give them a chance to fill out a form to request hospice services. So that would be something to consider. Now, I know the thought process at the beginning, or, we've changed so many times. So be mindful where you're getting your information and who you're getting it from. Um, Sometimes design elements are good and sometimes they're not good. And in this case, not having a form for someone to fill out to request and it go to the team, just like a phone call should have went to the team, we still need to be fielding those calls and those online requests. Thanks so much for responding. Looking forward to assisting you. And then the form can have all kinds of cool stuff on it, but we could even put on there how they hear about us, but most people don't click that. You still got to ask. I would definitely be asking the calls that are coming in, but if you're saying you're getting no calls with 127 clicks or 117, just strictly on the name we're pushing, not to mention the other stuff that if people are clicking to the website, how are they not calling, right? So if you had at least one conversion for hospice in a given month with the amount of activities going on, you're more than should be more than enough affording your costs. And then of course that'll be magnified over the course of a year because your costs aren't going up, but your revenue should be increasing because of the booked clients. Um, but I don't know if you're losing a lot. I don't know if with the government shutdown, if you're even going to get your receivables. There's a lot of things in the air, but there's definitely some targets. See the veterans, a lot of activity that we want to go get in. We weren't even targeting veterans. Palliative care near me is growing, right? You had one click in September, none there. But here again is where we were spearheading hospice all alone. It was doing great. And then now we've kind of neutralized it just a tad because we put on a bunch of strings called palliative, home care, and various other versions. So as we get more data and see this, then we'll be able to open those umbrellas for those particular searches. The big one for me, hospice near me, look, 1,000 searches last month, no clicks in September. And then 408, there was one in October. So this is the one we want to capture more of. You just have a ton of competition, but because we're targeting those concentric areas that we talked about, that's why you might not be seeing the number of clicks that's relative to the search volume that's there. But it should be. So there's more work to be done. The domain rank is doing fine. The maturity or maturation level of the website is fine. But with a lot of the changes and a lot of updates on pages and pictures, we are changing what the search engine is looking for. So you shouldn't have gangbuster numbers while you continue to change. You got to let that thing be searched and found by the Google search crawlers. And then one of the things that we'll be doing here soon, once we let it set for a minute, get it loaded and set, we'll be doing the AI search engines because now the AI is answering first above any paid or organic traffic. And we want to get you in those lists, right? That will for sure make a huge difference in the volume coming at you. But the standard of practice, from what I understand from most of my clients, and usually what we train and teach anyway, is you need to have a block and tackle system. Everybody needs to be answering the phone. How did you hear about us from any inbound lead, right? You might be able to validate what your salespeople are really doing because they may not be doing as much as you think. So the thing is, or vice versa, is the website and the SEO doing as much as we think? It should be by margin, but right now, without understanding y'all's practice and pattern on the inbound receiving side, it's going to be difficult to track. The only other way to do that, because we didn't give them a form to fill out, the only other way to do it is change all this to a trackable number because you can't use a regular number for tracking, and then we'll forward it to this number. But then that would make another change because this is out there everywhere now, right? Has been for a while, including now the other sites. So now we're building this pyramidal search volume for 3 entities And then ultimately we'll turn all that toward the health.org, right? While we're pulling that one up. This is the by far the most strength. The only other thing I got going on is I need to update the Google My Business listings, and the way that works is, you can have more than one entity at one address, or similar address, right? Like parts department or body shop might be the same dealer name, same Google business, but it's a different listing. Makes sense? So hospice, med partners, and home care will have their own listing. Because health is a separate kind of entity, it's not really going to get its own Google My Business listing yet. What we'll do is pipe in all of the Google business reviews from the other three. That's what will populate the org, right? So that people can see the plethora of those reviews. But for that, I do need an address for each. Is it going to be A, B, that kind of thing? There are some steps for me to get that verified the right way so we don't have what we had last time. And I can walk you through that. But wanted to give this to you because it was on my heart and on my mind. We can see that the activity has been climbing and coming at you. What is the block and tackle looking like? And if you've not done it, then you're going to be hard pressed to say. But then if the best thing you can say is, well, no one's telling us that they're looking us up on Google. That's what the antithesis that you're thinking the customer is going to tell you that. You have to ask them. There's nobody I know that's in the game doing any kind of advertising, organic or paid, and organic is SEO, that they're not screening everybody to death because they want to know to the nth degree, where is it coming from, right? And that just justifies everything. And then if there's anything that's not pulling its own weight, we can turn the screws on and make those adjustments. But see, without that feedback, it gets difficult. So hopefully we can move forward and help get that additional traffic that's doing these searches, especially like, hospice near me, man. That hospice near me, that was a lot of volume there. We need to pick some of that up. If we would just get to 10% of those clicks, another 100, right? Or another 40, what would that do in the way of, transactional business for you? And then now that I see, I've been looking at the last 6 months trend. This hospice for veterans near me has not even been prevalent, but now all of a sudden it's spiking. So I guess because of the age of people, the boomers, and the age that they're arriving to, and most of them, a lot of them being veterans, that might be a new surge that's coming, and we want to capitalize on that. So we're on top of it. We can always do better and do more, but we've got to communicate and then make sure that the mousetrap, if you will, is proper. We probably should give somebody a form to fill out, because let's say I just don't got time to call you. I'm at work, I'm driving, I don't want to call, I just want to fill it out, and then have someone call me, right? Might be something to consider. We may be missing that conversion piece because we didn't give people that option, or we took it away a while back on one of the last 2 or 3 revisions, right? Have to be practical about the end user and how that stuff's happening. It's kind of like the brochure, right? Those 2 bars with nothing on it. It just wasn't a necessary design element, right? So things like that to consider. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Love you to death. Do anything in the world for you. In fact, I think we've done a ton. We did no artwork, no rework fees on the brochures, even though there was an error, but we're getting that reprinted. And I think the guys have kind of started playing with what that staff gallery might look like, I think, on hospice. And once we kind of figure out the best fashion and form for that to work, then it'll be implemented on the rest of it. Okay. Talk to you guys soon. I'm going to go teach. I teach a little class of 4th graders on church on Sunday in the evening. We'll talk this week. Thanks.